All right, everyone. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I have a special guest with us. His name is Emmanuel, and he just finished his bachelor's degree in 8 months. So, welcome, Emmanuel. I guess the first thing I want to say to you, and for those watching, the reason I wanted Emmanuel here is because I want him to share his story and how he did this, and hopefully help you get a little bit closer to getting your degree faster. So, Emmanuel, first thing I want to say to you is congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm super excited for you. Emmanuel emailed me a few days ago with the good news. He just went through. I have a program called Degree Hacking Academy where I teach people how to graduate faster. He went through the program, got his degree in 8 months. I guess I want to ask you, Emmanuel, like you probably have a lot of emotions right now because you just finished school. How are you feeling and what's it like to reach the finish line?
I mean, it feels great. It does really feel great because I was able to do something that none of my friends did. It took them, 4 years, 5 years. It took them 6 years to graduate, and I did it in 8 months. So I'm feeling pretty good, and I mean, I'm feeling really relieved because I did cram a lot of information in my head. So I'm just feeling relieved that I could take a short break now. But I'm feeling really good.
Awesome. And you deserve the break. I mean, it's a huge milestone. The average person takes like 5.5 years to earn a bachelor's degree, and you just crushed it and
Yeah, it
did it in
just
8 months.
went really fast.
That's awesome. Well, if you don't mind, I want to ask you a little bit about your backstory. Um, what was your situation like before you got your degree? And I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Before you got your degree, what was the situation like? Why did you want the degree? And why didn't you get a degree earlier? I mean, I'm in a similar situation. We got degrees as adult students, not as 18 to 22-year-old kids. What, like, why didn't you get a degree then? And what made you want to go back later?
So when I was that age, when I was about 18 to 22, I graduated from high school and I did actually try to go to college, to a university here where I live, and I wasn't able to I just wasn't able to do well in college. I wasn't it was just I don't know if it was hard for me or was it just the material wasn't narrow enough for me, but I wasn't able to do well in college, so I dropped out. I got a job, and I was just working, just regular jobs, you know, $10 an hour, $12, whatever it might be. I was just working regular jobs for a while, and I was a manager doing like market research, which in that industry, market research managers, they get paid pretty good, but I was getting paid less than the lowest of of that I don't know what you call it, like the lower end. They have like a they have anywhere between like 42,000 on the low end to like almost 100,000 on the high end, and I was getting paid far lower than even the lowest on that scale because I didn't have a degree or whatever. That was probably most of it. So I definitely wanted to get a degree to start making some more money in the jobs that I did do because I was doing the same work that someone else was doing with a degree, and they were just making more money for the same work.
I was in a similar situation. I was making $12 an hour, dropped out of college twice. It just wasn't working. And that's pretty common. I'm glad you found me and went back. I guess the question is like when you did find me and you found me and heard my story, probably heard stories of other people that I had worked with. When you found me, were you skeptical?
Yes, I was very, very skeptical. I'm a real skeptical guy. I usually, opportunities present themselves, and I'm usually like out of 100 times, there would, I might, you know, I might actually do only one of them. So I'm a real skeptical guy. Like, the free ebooks I signed up for, those types of things, free ebooks. But then as soon as, it's like, oh, hey, take this course for $500 and you'll be a master marketer. I never usually do those. And for some reason, I pulled the trigger on this program just because, there was no other, I was kind of pressed my back against the wall, no matter what I did, no matter what certification I got, no matter what new skill I learned, no matter how much I tried to network with people, which are all ways to, try to get ahead, it didn't work. It was just this, but that having a degree was not having a degree was anchoring me in my spot. I couldn't really move forward more than, I mean, I got $1 an hour raise or something like that, but to see a significant improvement in my life, I would have to have a degree. That's what it came down to. So I pulled the trigger on it because my back was against the wall.
That's,
And I'm hugely skeptical, meaning I almost didn't do it.
you know what? It's because there are a lot of things online out there that just don't work. And people have wasted money on stuff that doesn't work. And the difference is this does work, right? And I'm glad you gave it a shot. Now, I imagine you went through the program, and for those that don't know, like I teach a full system for like how to find out what's going to be on your exams and how to study away from the school and skip homework assignments and textbooks and lesson plans and study guides and not do it the school's way. You probably went through, learned the process, but still felt skeptical going in, like kind of wondering if it was actually going to work. So I want to ask you, like, when was it that you were like, oh my gosh, this actually might work? Was there a
Yeah,
specific moment?
there kind of was. It was so I did my first class in about so I work full time. I work about 30 to 30 so between 30 to 40 hours a week, and I work Thursday through Sunday. So I only have Tuesday and Wednesday off. So I finished my first class in about 5 days or so, meaning Tuesday, Wednesday, and I was basically done with the class because and then maybe before work or after work I read for about an hour as well. But I was able to finish a class which would have originally taken, like if I went to traditional school, it would have taken me, well, I don't know how long it could, 6 months. It would have taken me an entire semester to finish that one class, and I did it in 5 days. And so by the time that I was able to do that for my second class and my third class, by the time I was done with my third class, and I basically had a semester, I had 4 classes done, which is basically in regular school a full-time semester, and I had it done instead of in 6 months, I had it done in like 1 month, and I was like, okay, I'm going like 6 times faster at this point. It's like I'm finished with a normal semester. I'm like, it's gonna work. Like I'm gonna be able to finish way faster than if I had just did it the traditional way.
That's so cool. And Emmanuel actually emailed me after he got his first finished his first class 5 days later, and you were so excited. So after you did that 3 times, you realized, oh my gosh, this actually works. That's really cool.
Right.
That's really common for students that work with me. And think about this. Like normally it's 4 or 5 or 6 month semester, depending on the school, and you're doing 4 classes, and it takes the entire semester to do 4 classes. And you're coming in your 2 days off a week, and you're doing the bulk of an entire class in 2 days. And did you kind of hold that pace through the entire degree?
I did. I gotta say that I crammed it, meaning I didn't want to, because each time you had to do another semester would have been another, it would have cost another semester because they don't go by the class, they go by the semester. So even if you have one class remaining in your degree program, you'd have to get another semester. So I just crammed completely through, and I just tried to do it as fast as possible. I wasn't able to do it in one semester because I work, but I was able to do it in 8 months. And I'm sitting here with about 17 weeks left on my second semester.
So it just took you 2 months of your next semester,
Yes.
which is awesome. Man, it's just so cool hearing this. Now, you you did a couple of classes the traditional way years ago. So you started you and I did the same thing. Like I had like 2 classes transfer over. I think you were about the same as me, but you have
Right.
some experience with traditional college. And I think you said you had 2 or 3 classes under your belt when you started hacking the degree. Let me just ask you, having the experience of traditional college and having the experience of hacking your degree, like what are the differences between the processes, and like how different does it feel each way? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that definitely makes sense. And for me, I can easily answer that question because when you're in traditional school, you're sitting there in a classroom and they're teaching you like they're teaching like one chapter. It's like a 4 hour class sometimes, or you're in there for at least like an hour or two. Sometimes it's a 4 hour class. Sometimes they're really long and they're teaching you like one thing out of one chapter, and then you have to do a homework assignment or like a project on it. And that way of learning is not good for me because like if my mind is not constantly engaged or constantly, I don't know how to like it just needs to be I lose my attention very quickly. So after the first like 15 or 20 minutes, if they start repeating themselves, or even if another person in the classroom asks a question, that's it. I might lose my focus. And so those traditional ways of doing it, I literally couldn't complete school because they were doing things their way and I needed to do things my way in order for me to understand the material, in order for me to pass the class. So doing things my way on my own time and like using my own way of doing it, that was the only way that I could get through school. Like I couldn't do it if the teacher was just monotonously for 4 hours talking about one thing on one chapter. And if it's something you already know, you just tune it out. And I couldn't, that was just how it was going for me in traditional school.
Totally. The whole traditional plan, it's been drilled in our brains our entire lives. It takes 4 years to earn a degree. It actually takes like 5.5 for most students. But we've been taught our whole lives it takes 4 years, and this is the way, right? We're gonna do homework assignments, and we're gonna read from textbooks and have lectures from teachers. And what they don't tell you is it doesn't actually take you that long to learn what you need to learn.
No,
You
you could learn a lot of that stuff in 15 minutes. Like that whole entire thing you could learn in 15 minutes. If
Mhm.
you're, if you don't understand it, then okay, it might take you an hour or two or three, whatever. But if you understand it, you can learn it in 15 minutes and move on to something you don't understand. And that's what's great about your system because you don't sit there for 3 or 4 hours learning something that you already know. You're just wasting time at that point.
Absolutely. And on top of that, I encourage people, like, listen, what you're being taught in university is 80% of it is outdated. It's old information that's not even relevant in today's world. And you're not even tested on it in the class. It's just like fluff info that we don't need. And if we can skip the stuff we don't need and only study what we actually need to test out of a class or to pass an exam, it's it's a game changer because you're just weeding out so much of the fluff, right? It really is a big difference. Now, let me ask you this, Emmanuel. Like you mentioned, you were skeptical. There are so many different reasons to not go back to school or to feel like you can't. And sometimes it's time, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's I'm not smart enough. Sometimes it's just no way. It's that's too good to be true. That's impossible. It has to take 4 years to get a degree. For people that are just thinking about this and wondering if this is real or possible or doable for them or if they're smart enough, like I guess my question to you would be what advice would you have? Like, do you have any personal advice for other people that are thinking about trying to accelerate a degree?
Yes, I would, because I was one of those people who I didn't have the time, certainly didn't have the time, didn't have the money, and I needed to do it, and I just didn't have a way. I didn't understand that there was a way to do it. So if you're lucky enough to come up on Ryan's program here, if you're lucky enough to stumble upon him and his program, I want you to know that it is possible. I did it. I'm working a full-time job and I got a full bachelor's in less than a year. If you don't have to go to work, you could do it in less than 6 months. And the program works. I mean, you do have to, you obviously have to be mentally prepared to go to school and learn all of that material and pass those tests. But if you're mentally prepared to do that and it's just time or it's just money, that's the issue, then, and you're watching this video, then I just want you to know that Ryan's program does work if you follow it, and time or money will be much less of an issue if you just follow what he says.
Man, I love that. And I'm so excited you succeeded. I mean, 8 months for a degree is it's insane. My fastest student, and every student's different. Some students are really fast learners. Some students are slow readers, or it takes them longer to learn things, and that's okay. My fastest students I've helped have gone like 3 months for bachelor's degrees. I've had students go as slow as like 18 months, but the average is like 5.5 years. It's just there are better ways. The university system is basically a business model to keep us in school longer so they can make more money. And there are other ways to do it. Now, if you want to learn more about my program, I'm just going to leave a link down below this video in the description. And you're welcome to go, and I'll walk you through the inside and show you what it looks like. And if you'd like my help, great. If not, that's okay too. I'm just thankful to have you here, Emmanuel, and have you sharing your story and your experience. And the biggest thing here is congratulations. Like I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, just a couple of days ago I finished, so I'm still, I don't know if I'm still like fully here, if I got my feet on the ground firmly planted and I realized it, but I am relieved that I'm done, and I did it way faster than anyone else that I know.
That's
Thanks to you.
amazing. Now you got bragging rights for your friends. My friends didn't believe it for a long time. So you may need to take a selfie of you holding your diploma so that when people are like, no, that's impossible, you can actually show them and have some proof. But I've gotten some of that too. People like, heck no, you did it in that fast. I wasted this much time and money. And some people just don't want to believe it because they did it the traditional way.
Uh-huh. The traditional way. Yep.
Exactly. Well, Emmanuel, thank you so much for sharing your story. And thanks for those watching. If you're watching, wondering if you can get a degree faster, you can. And wish you the best of luck and success. And Emmanuel, I wish you success in the future going forward and getting better jobs and pay raises and building a better career.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you in the next video.